Hey everyone. So great to see you all here. I'm excited to have McKayla and Kristen with me, and we're just coming on to just chat about money and kids and what things we're doing with that, and how to really help our kids with money. And Kristen was just asking me, I just went to a conference where I got to speak, and I brought my son with me. He is 15 years old, and it was really fun to have him there, because it was something new for him, right, to go to a conference. And oh, he was so funny. He's like, do I have to dress up, mom? Like, yes, son, you have to at least wear like a button up or something.
Like not basketball shorts.
Right. Yeah. We're not wearing our basketball shorts to a conference where your mom's speaking.
Well, I tell people this story all the time. In 2019, so not that long ago, I'm actually about to post a reel I made yesterday about this, but I worked for a brokerage, and my bosses, they're a husband-wife couple. They bought us tickets to Entre Leadership, which is a entrepreneur event
Yeah.
run by Dave Ramsey. And I left that event and I called my dad and I said, why did I go to college when I should have been doing these since I was 16? I would be like so like stoked if that was what happened. And so when I saw your post, I'm like, how lucky is he? I just love that. Like that is such goals for me because my kids are 6 and 8. I'm like, Camilla, you're like my idol.
Yeah. No, and I think it's also really cool that he was able to witness you share things that are game changers for so many people. And because it's one thing when it's like, oh, it's my mom, like she cooks us breakfast and does all the things for us. But then to see her up on a stage sharing really valuable information that is changing the game for so many people in that room, I think that's also a really incredible experience. So
yeah,
It was
how did
cool.
it go? Like, what was the feedback you got from him afterwards?
About the conference. So
Yeah.
he said he liked it. Well, of course, he said he was bored at some points. I mean, he's a normal teenager, right? But he said he liked it, and he really enjoyed being, getting to know the people. And I so appreciated the people that were there because they welcomed him with open arms. It was a smaller conference. There was only like 40 people in the room, and so it was very conversational. And in fact, right after I got done speaking, I think one of the last things I said was about, I was trying to encourage everybody in there to follow their dreams, because one of the things I keep saying is that, as parents, we look at our kids and we're like, we really want you to, go after your dreams, get whatever you want, you can do it, we believe in you, we'll cheer for you, we'll be there. But how much more powerful is it that they see their own parents achieving big dreams and going after big dreams, and then they see the reality of what it takes to get the big dreams too, and the failures and how it doesn't come naturally, and like all these things. So that was what I ended on. And then one of the people called him out and they're like, hey Mason, what do you think about what your mom just said? He was like, I'm glad she's doing it. Like he didn't know what to say, but it was really cute. And it was a special moment for both of us to have that together.
Yeah.
That is. And I think what you do, and like, so me and Camilla met because she came onto my podcast, Moms in Real Estate, and we had her on 2 times because it wasn't enough. And I think that, I have this huge network of female entrepreneurs, but nobody talks about how you're bringing money into your house and how to instill great money values in your kids. And for me, I haven't even done anything yet. And so when I heard her speak, I was just like, gosh, this is such a needed topic. And Camilla came and spoke at our event, the Flourish event. And again, the feedback was amazing when it came to her. I always go back to my sister was she is so cool. My sister listens to her podcast religiously. She calls me and she's like, did you listen to Camilla's podcast? I'm like, what did it say? I'm like, and so it's just cool. What you've done and how you've done it in your household is so, so valuable.
It is. So for those of you who are watching, whether it's from Kristen's page, my page, Camilla's page, if you're following Camilla, you probably already know all the amazing things she's up to. But Camilla, will you share for people who are just tuning in or this is their first time maybe listening to any of us, tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Yeah, so I call myself a student of money. So I got married really young and had babies really young, like right away. I had 5 babies in 8 years, and it was preventative for me being able to contribute to our family's finances through actual income. Because I mean, 5 babies and daycare, like
Yeah,
me as a mid 20-year-old, like I could not afford that. I couldn't
totally.
make enough to afford that, right? So I was a stay-home parent, but I was really frustrated by that role for a lot of reasons. But one was I didn't feel like I was contributing very well to the family's finances. And I'm like, I'm a smart woman. I know how. I love math. I can do all these things. And so then I decided, okay, I'm going to become like the CFO of my family, and I'm going to really just dive into finances and figure out all the different ways that I can contribute. So I became the master budgeter, the money manager, the investor, the couponer, like all the things,
Yeah.
right? And so then I just really dove into investing. But I had a lot of like really bad mindsets that I had to fix, and it took me a long time to work on those. Because you know, what's the classic? Oh, I was singing this to my daughter this morning. We don't talk about money. No, no, no. Like, because nobody talks about it. Nobody talks
Yeah.
about money. Because maybe you grew up like I did, where money was considered a taboo topic, like money and sex. Like, no, no, we don't talk about any of that. And then also it was deemed as not a good thing to pursue, right? You shouldn't pursue money because, that's bad.
Or
And
like
I
fear
always
of
like,
what you might turn into, or like those
exactly,
people have
right?
money. Yeah.
hmm
Like
Like,
they,
and
I don't
so
know.
we always we judged rich people as being greedy and bad people.
Mhm.
And it was so bizarre. So it was just these mindsets that I had to really work on.
Yeah.
And with these issues that are going on. And then I also had scarcity mindset. So my scarcity mindset was such that I grew up in a family of 10 children, and we didn't have a lot. We didn't have a lot to go around. Like, we all wore hand-me-downs. We never had the fancy clothes. We never had all the things that a lot of my friends had. Um, and so I felt like money was scarce. And so I was trying to work on these money issues. And then I'm looking at my children and reading statistics about how kids form their money mindsets really early on.
Right.
And more
Mhm.
than like 60% of kids are afraid of money because of the way their parents talk about it in the home. Because they
Mhm.
see the money fights, or they see the panic, and like, oh, we got laid off. Now what are we going to do? And there's all this panic.
Right.
And I was like, I don't want my kids to be like that. I want my kids to have healthy money mindsets. I want them to be able to talk about money like it's a tool, like the tool it is,
Yeah.
rather than being scared of it, or like wanting it so much that it drives them crazy. Because money is not the goal and it's not the enemy, right? It's
Sure.
just simply a tool that we use. So I think that's where I came from. And so what I've been doing for the last 20 years is I not only have I become an expert on investing, specifically in real estate investing. So I own lots of apartment buildings now, and I've just really scaled up my real estate investing business. I've also brought my kids along the journey. And so my kids are all investors in real estate, and they earn income, and I use tax strategies to shift to them. And it's just this really cool system that they can tell you the difference between an asset and a liability in a heartbeat. They can tell you how to turn a liability into an asset. And it's just all these conversations. And so what I've been working on for the past couple years is, how do I teach more than just my kids? How do I help other female entrepreneurs teach their own kids so that their kids can also be set up for financial success? And I mean, to be honest, my kids have the tools to be millionaires way before I did it. And so it's pretty cool. And so that's what I do right now is I work on I try and teach other families. So I coach people in real estate investing, and then I also coach female entrepreneurs on how to help the next gen uh, build wealth too.
And so I know you've been working really hard on a program. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so the program, I've going to do a live class, a free class on Monday, January 23rd at 12 Central, and it's called Kids and Cash. 12 Central. Okay. It's called Kids and Cash, and it's just going to be an hour where I'm going to come on and I'm going to teach a couple of things. So I'm going to teach you the mindsets that you need to have to teach your own kids. I'm going to teach you the different aspects, like how to treat your kids and, by age. Like I have a whole program that I've developed that's going to teach by age and what the kids need to know at different ages and stages, and how to kind of help them in their own journey. And then also I'm going to address one of the issues that I think a lot of women who are successful, who have like gotten some money but had to build it themselves, I think, and this is for me too, I think about this all the time, like, am I spoiling my kids? If I just give them a whole ton of money, am I spoiling them? If I pay for everything, am I spoiling them? So how do you like set up your kids for financial success without spoiling them, without enabling them or creating the entitlement issues that I know a lot of kids have right now? And so I'm going to address that as well.
One thing that comes to mind when you're talking about this, what if, because there's going to be a lot of parents probably listening that are like, okay, my kids are 10, they're 12, they're whatever age, and they're already spoiled. Like, how do they reverse that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can think of that being as like a huge problem.
That, and which I want, or like my kids are 3, but you cover all of that. It starts young.
It does. Yeah. So the system that I've developed, they start when they're 5, right? So they officially start when they're 5, but really money conversations should be happening all the time. Right. And you got to check the way you talk about money too. And then, so to Kristen, what you were saying, like, what if my kid's already spoiled? I mean, they are, right? Like if we think about the way I grew up versus the way my kids grew up, my kids are spoiled, but there's very specific things. If you adopt kind of what we have done into your family, it teaches responsibility, it teaches ownership, it helps the kids really have that end ownership of it. So specifically, like I do a budgeting thing where I teach budgeting, and you allow the kids to have the complete control of their clothing budget. And it requires some discipline on you as a parent, for sure,
I love how you do
let them do that.
I know. It's so great.
And so then they have to decide if they're going to pay $100 for the fancy shirt, or if they're going to go to Ross and buy a $10 shirt, Right. And once it becomes on them, then they make very different decisions. It's pretty amazing what happens when they have to fork out their own money rather than just grabbing your credit card and not even looking at it. Because sometimes I'll go to the store and the kids are like, can I get this? I'm like, well, how much is it? I don't know. They don't even look, right? They don't even see the price. They don't have any concept of if that's that expensive or not, or cheap, or what not. So yeah.
I love that. So if anybody listening wants to join the call on Monday, which I'm definitely going to be there and send it out to my whole group, how do we get there?
Yeah, so I have a registration link, and you go to my website, CamillaJeffs.com/kids-and-cash. Kids and cash.
And I'll say it again, CamillaJeffs.com/kids.
Kids-and-cash. So the class is called Kids and Cash. And that's where
I'll
you can go and register.
To link it and everything as well.
Awesome. Yeah. And if you can't join live, no worries. Just register anyway so that you can get access to the replay. And so you can get all these little nuggets to do it.
So exciting.
And also, if anyone's listening and wants to be in community with someone like Camilla, then you need to come out to Florida, because she will be teaching, and I call it workshopping more, for a full hour, maybe a little bit more, on this specific topic, in person at the Girl Invest in Yourself retreat. So you can look up that at girlinvestinyourself.com. And that's going to be on March 2nd and 3rd. And it's all around money mindset. So very excited for that.
Yes, me too. I can't wait. I can't wait to get together with a whole bunch of women and just talk about money. Like, this is so great. It's like my dream come true.
I know. It's like not my dream come true. Like this is me putting myself in a very uncomfortable room because my money mindset's jacked.
We can help you. Don't worry, Kristen. We got this. We can work on this together.
Camilla, have you ever been down here to the Panhandle, like Santa Rosa Beach, Destin, 38?
Yeah. So I've been to Destin. Yeah, I love it. It's a beautiful. In fact, I was looking at a rental, and I'm so mad I didn't buy it. Like we were looking at a short-term rental. My brother and I were going to invest in one, and we lost the bid on it by like $1,000 or something ridiculous. And then, and that was in like early 2021 before prices like shot up. And I'm like,
that would have been great. But I'm excited. I'll connect with you more offline, but I have a great wholesaler. I just snatched up a duplex with a 5-bay garage that I'm going to convert into a like individual like units.
I like it.
Down here. And then another one in Pensacola Beach. And I get them all through my wholesaler, like really.
Okay.
But then
and I'll do a little plug for McKayla because she's going to be teaching at the retreat too. And she has 150 investment properties, and I think she's like a silent, sneaky, like you don't know because she doesn't talk about it. She's so like humble. I found out like months after I knew her, I'm like, you have 150 investment properties? Like what? I'm like, that's awesome.
You're so sweet.
Just snatched up stuff, you know.
I'm excited. I'm just so excited to have you down here and share all of this amazing information with everybody who's going to attend. And then those of you who want to hop on to Camilla's course, it's going to be amazing. It's going to blow your mind on how to structure your kids' money and like shift your money mindset. And it all starts with us as parents. Like we can't teach our kids until we, work on our own. So this is a great launching point. Even if you feel like your finances or your investments are like a disaster, this really brings you back to the basics of what it means to talk about money in your household and how to start structuring things in a very simple way, but it'll change everything. So I encourage you.
Yeah, for sure. It's cool how, when you have to teach a concept, you think about it in a different way than when you're just like learning from someone else or like, oh yeah, I should do that someday. I should do that someday. But I think when I realized, oh my gosh, I have to teach my kids these concepts, that's when I actually got better at managing my own money myself, because I was like, well, if I'm not a good budgeter, how do I teach my kids to be a good budgeter? And so it like kind of whipped my own butt into shape to be good with money. And so that my kids had a good example to follow instead of, mom says this, but she doesn't really do it,
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait for all of it. Well, then I will see you Monday.
Yes, let's do it. Thanks so much, ladies, for joining me. It's always so fun to chat with other like-minded women. And
really
I can't wait to see you all in March at the retreat.
I know it's going to be here before we know it.
Yeah, like already here.
I know.
I'm just like praying it's hot. I want to like lay on the beach after the retreat and just like enjoy the hot sun.
Totally. All right, you guys. Well, have a great rest of your day, and
thank you.
Soon.
Talk soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.